Hi, my name is Anthony Allred and I am Head of Sixth Form here at Hayes. First of all, I want to welcome you to the Hayes community as a parent in the Hayes Sixth Form community. Whether you've been part of the Hayes community in main school or whether your son or daughter is now new to us, a big welcome. This is obviously not the way we would like to be conducting this event, but in light of current situations, we feel that this is the best vehicle to do this. If you do have any questions, there's a link on the letter that I sent you to give us some feedback, and we'll endeavour to sort of answer those questions, either myself or Mr. Tucker. Hopefully we're going to give you some information of how best to support your young person over their journey for the next 2 years, and that's something really that I want to start with, is their journey. So for their first assembly, I talked to them about a TV program I got really hooked on in August, and it was Bear Grylls, the world's toughest race. And this race is an endurance race. It's a set of 11 days. The winners do it in sort of 4 or 5 days. They don't sleep, they barely eat, they sort of drag each other through this. And I talked to them about sort of the skills that were on show here, the dedication, the hard work, the motivation that goes into doing this, not just the actual race, but the training within that. And I really then sort of focused on the idea of their teamwork, because for me, teamwork was the most important thing for these athletes. It's the thing that got them through in their low moments. It was their team that managed to rally them and got them through to the end of the race. And I sort of taught students about how this has got sort of a crossover for them within their time here at Sixth Form, and they can see Sixth Form as a race. And I taught to them about how it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's really important to set themselves up in the short term to win that race in the long term. We know the inevitable sprints in terms of revision and work will increase towards the end of year 13, but it's about laying the foundations now at the beginning of the race to see themselves through this. Teamwork is really important with this, and I talked to them about their team being their peers, talked to them about being their teachers, us as pastoral staff, and you as their parents, and that team can help them to overcome any obstacle that might be in their way. And it has helped them to overcome the obstacles they've already faced. You know, they had a period out of school, they had lots of uncertainty over their exams and over how grades were given last year. They've overcome that. They've come back to school with resilience and have now applied themselves fully to what they should be doing, which is great to see. This links to what we want for all of our students, and I talk about it in terms of our students and our vision, because it really is. It's our vision as a Sixth Form, but hopefully you can share this, and you can share that you want to be part of this, and so can students. See, we want to inspire and support each and every one of our students to raise and achieve both their personal and academic aspirations. Academic rigour has to be at the centre of everything that we do. We really have to ensure that students are meeting deadlines for coursework, are engaged in lessons, and are driving forward with their study skills to ensure that they are moving forward in terms of their progress. We will talk to them about that. We will provide guidance, but we will inform you of that as well if a student is not meeting the desired level that we need them to be at. That dialogue is really important, and if you as parents feel that we aren't getting to that level with students, I encourage you to talk to us, speak to us, and we together can ensure that we continue to ensure that your young person gets both their personal and academic aspirations at the end of this race in 2 years' time. At the centre of everything that we really do is the Hayes Learner. The Hayes Learner is a set of skills that have been developed in order for our learners to make that leap from us here at Hayes into the big bad world, be that into an apprenticeship, into university, into the workplace. And we really feel these are skills that enable a lifelong learner and somebody who has the cultural capital to make that step in and be active in our wider community. We want students to be independent, a communicator, a team player, reflective and creative. But at the heart of that and at the centre of that is the heart of the student. We want them to be kind, empathetic, tolerant, respectful, responsible and proud. And we go about trying to help and guide and support students in developing these skills over the course of the 2 years. Through lessons and through we actively try and support them in developing these things to become more motivated, to become engaged, to become a leader, to become a risk taker, because we really feel this creates a rounded learner for the future. And whilst their academic qualifications is what gets them the interview and gets them to the door, we firmly believe it's these skill sets, it's these that keep the students there, and we really seek to try and develop these in the long run. A part of this is we need students to be here, and it's a little plea for you to help and support us to try and make sure that these young people are here. We consider anything below a 95% attendance to be unsatisfactory. We really want students to be on time, to be in lessons, and to be engaged. And to give you a little sort of example, if I've got 90% attendance, I've missed half a day every week. That's 4 whole weeks of lessons I've missed by the end of year 12. That's 60 hours of dedicated learning that I've missed with a professional. We can't afford for that to happen. These students need to be in lessons and they need to be engaged. It's a crucial area of sixth form, not just for achievement, but for their next steps and their references. We have to provide this information if we are requested for it. I would urge you, please support us by authorising known absences. If you know a student is going to be absent for any given reason, be that a hospital appointment or something like that, please let us know and we will sanction that accordingly. In addition, please help us to encourage that high level of attendance. Please do ask your students to ensure they get to school on time, to help them get out of bed in the morning and to push them in the right direction. Again, helping us to build those skills that we need in longer life after our education. We have to be on time for work. We have to be on time for sixth form, therefore, because it's an important life skill to have. I want to talk to you briefly about independent studies and period 11s. Period 11s are a compulsory lesson that we want students to go to in order to complete work. These are a non-contact lesson, not with a professional, but they are manned by a member of the sixth form team. These are sat in H5, H6, and we ask students to sign in on the inventory scanner. Now, teachers will be setting work for them to do specific period 11 work, be that via Microsoft Teams or Satchel 1. It's really important they engage with this. This is the opportunity for them to engage with wider reading, to look and research into certain areas, to do pre-reading for lessons, and if teachers are engaging in flip learning, and really to develop a wider base of skills than the classroom can deliver. Especially going on to their next steps, be that working in apprenticeships or going on to university. They're going to need that sort of time management skill, that resilience, and that sort of independent working in order to hit goals and deadlines that are set for them. Independent study is on their timetable, but is a non-manned hour. This isn't a compulsory where students have to be in school or they have to use that time. This is our guidance. We suggest that this independent study time is used in order to keep up to date with the work that's set. Per subject, we recommend that should generate 5 hours of independent study time per fortnight. That's 15 additional hours of independent study. That could be in the form of homework, revision, preparation for assessments. It could be reading material that's been set by the teacher, or it could be your own research, your own looking at different areas of the specification that are interesting to you. We really would urge students to make use of this time. Again, going back to my analogy of a race, it's this little training that goes on throughout the course of 2 years that takes some pressure off that final sprint to the end at the end of year 13. We have lots of new school rules that students are getting to grips with, and I want to thank them for that and thank you for your support with that as well. We have a new start time which is at 8:40 for our year 12 students, with an arrival between 8:30 and 8:40, and we have certain zones that they can and can't go into. The year 12 bubbles are the restaurants, H5 and H6. H5 and H6 are computer suites, so they do have access to ICT, and the restaurant is a sort of communal type area where they can get access to food and those sort of things as well. The other thing we do insist is we insist students wear a face covering in communal areas. It's really important to ensure the continuity of education here at Hayes for themselves and for their peers, that they can continue to wear face coverings when in a communal area, especially in the areas like the street, B block and C block, which has access to multiple year groups going through that and multiple year bubbles. It's really important they do that, and we will continue to enforce that with them. One of the last things I want to talk to you about is the 16 to 19 bursary. This replaces the pupil premium funding that students may have received at Key Stage 4. However, this isn't an automatic given level of support. This is something that we would need to parents and students to provide advice and evidence for. There are 3 levels: 300, 600 and 1200, and you can see there the levels that students can apply for. The link is on that, and we will make sure this is available as a PDF on the school's website, so you can click on that link and you can see and get that application and get the bursary policy to see whether your young person qualifies for that. This can be used to buy items in kind, such as textbooks, uniform. Eventually in year 13 it could be their UCAS application fee, so all those things can be covered from their bursary allocation depending on the level that they have. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is Mr. Tucker is going to talk a lot about sort of their next steps, and one of the key things for that is making sure you have a lot to talk about, be that for your personal statement for UCAS or be that on your CV. One of the things that's really useful for students to do is the Extended Project Qualification, or the EPQ. Now this is launching this Friday with Miss West, who runs that, and I overview that. This is a really recognised qualification run by AQA. It's a real different way of learning. It's an independent way of learning. It's students setting their own sort of project over the course of a year, where they will have meetings with a mentor similar to the university way of learning, and they'll submit a piece at the end. This is an optional qualification. This isn't compulsory. You don't have to do this. It carries the same UCAS points as an AS, so you can see the breakdown there of how that would be. There's no A star at AS, unfortunately. So students can gain some extra UCAS points, which might make the difference between their firm choice and their insurance choice in the long run, or also just show a different set of skills on a CV for an apprenticeship application. This is a project that the student selects with their mentor. They'll be given a member of staff who will mentor them, and they come up with a project. They either have to submit a 500-word essay, a 5,000-word essay, sorry, or an artifact with a 1,000-word essay. The artifact could be a piece of music that they've composed. It could be a piece of art. It could be a computer program. That could be their artifact. And then they present it. They give us a 1,000-word essay. This is marked and then validated through AQA, and they provide the official qualification for the students. The key benefits of this is it helps to develop independence. It's really beneficial for next steps and being proactive within relation to that and also within school. It's preparation for uni-style learning for those students who want to go on to university. It's really good preparation for that. It helps them to develop those research skills that are necessary, those higher level research skills, looking at academic research, that it's not just the first thing you find on Google, it's digging that little bit deeper. And it's a break from their normal academics. It's student-directed learning. It's a way to fill some of that time, some of that independent study time, some of that free time on a project that they really care about. You can see some examples of past EPQ titles, and that's really the hardest thing, is setting a title. So the viability of feeding dogs a vegetarian diet, the research that goes into that, and then writing that off. Those are things that they might want to do, and it's really based on the interests of students. Again, I've given you the links to AQA there, and also a blog on UCAS about what is the EPQ and how is it beneficial for your next steps. I just want to end on the idea of the world's toughest race again. A-levels can be seen as hard. They can be seen as sometimes being too much, but I firmly believe that it is a marathon, it's not a sprint, and it's all about making and building little habits that add up to massive gains. That is really our philosophy here at Hayes, and I just hope that students buy into that, and in the long run go on to wherever they want to be in the future. Thank you.